What's going on, guys? We are here today for, I guess, what I'm going to call an emergency meeting of min-maxing for fun and profit, because today is the 15th of November, and all the Pathfinders out there know what that means. Today, Ultimate Wilderness drops, and that means today, that thing right there, the shifter, it's out. I don't know a whole lot about this class, so pretty much as I'm reading through this, I guess we can also call this our first ever reaction video. All I really know about this class going in right now is that pretty much nobody is really into it. A lot of people think it doesn't pull the wild shape thing that it was supposed to pull off quite as well. However, I'm gonna try my best to go in pretty open-minded, pretty blank slate here, basically. So let's do a little scrolling here before we start reading. We're looking at, after all, a class with a full base attack bonus, good fortitude save, good will save, or excuse me, bad will save, good reflex save. We're looking at none of this stuff really. I mean, I kind of know what we're supposed to do, but we're going to scroll up and read it from the beginning. After we look at this, that's some sweet iconic art. I really like it. I really like the, I don't want to say vulture thing she's going for here, but it looks really Aztec, and oh man, those toes. That is creepy. Don't get kicked. That's what I'm going to say. If you go up against the iconic shifter, don't get kicked in the face. It will hurt. Anyway, moving on. These guys must be of any neutral alignment, and we're looking at a D10 hit dice. We have 4+ int skills per level. Acrobatics, climb, craft, fly, handle animal, knowledge, nature, perception, profession, ride, stealth, survival, and swim being our class skills. Shifters are proficient with clubs, daggers, darts, quarterstaves, scimitars, scythes, sickles, short spears, slings, and spears. We're also proficient with natural attacks. Of course, we're a shifter. Shifters are proficient with, looks like, light and medium armor, but can't wear metal armor, can wear wooden armor if it's been altered, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so druid proficiencies is what we're looking at here, basically. And this is supposed to be, from what little I've read when this was spoiled last summer, it's more or less like cleric is to druid as paladin is to shifter, so I guess we saw that one coming. As shifters, bonus language options include Sylvan and Aklo. That's weird. I wouldn't expect the Cthulhu language, but Sylvan, yeah, okay, sure. A shifter speaks Druidic, a secret language, blah, blah, blah. Basically, now it looks like it's not just the Druids pulling this one off. Of course, we are forbidden to teach the language to non-Druids or non-shifters. Again, basically, so far we're looking like a martial Druid, and I can get down with that, because I've always really, before I knew Paladins were a really powerful class, I was always way more into Druids than I was Clerics. I didn't know anything about Clerics until 3 years in when I GM'd for one. So if I can get the power of a Paladin in a Druid shell, I am super down. So at first level, we get a little toy called Shifter Aspect, which gives us a category of animal to which our body and soul become supernaturally attuned. We shift into our aspect's minor form for a number of minutes per day equal to 3+ shifter level. The duration need not be consecutive, but must be spent in 1-minute increments. Again, that's pretty standard. Shifting is a swift action, while ending the effect is a free action that can be taken only on our turn. Until a shifter reaches 9th and gains the Chimeric Aspect class feature, which sounds sweet, we can assume only one minor form, and shifting to a new aspect ends all minor forms currently manifested. The minor forms are not polymorph effects, and the shifter does not lose the benefits of a minor form while affected by polymorph effects. So I imagine what that means is as we level up and get something akin to wild shape, we can wild shape like a bear, I guess, and have the minor ability of a cat. And I can dig that. As the shifter gains levels, they gain more aspects, the second at 5th, third at 10th, and 4th at 15th. At will, a shifter in her natural form can extend their claws as a swift action, so we're Wolverine, essentially. To use as a weapon, the magical transformation is fueled by blah, blah, blah. The claws are primary attacks that do 1d4 points of piercing and slashing, 1d3 if we're small. If we use one claw in concert with a weapon, then the claw is a secondary. Basically the same idea for everybody out there who's been on lizard folk, cat folk, some tieflings, draconic bloodline stuff. Pretty much standard fare so far. As the shifter gains levels, the power increases. At 3rd, our claws ignore DR over cold iron and DR over silver. At 7th, the claws increase to a d6 damage. Okay, sure. At 11th, the claws increase to d10, and at 11th they increase to d8, and at 13th they go all the way up to a d10 on what was once a d4. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll be a monk. Cool. At 17th, the damage die does not increase, but our crit multiplier, so we become essentially Great Axe claws. Okay. And then at 19th level, the claws ignore damage reduction over adamantine, damage reduction over hyphen, so barbarians can get wrecked, is what I'm reading, basically. I can get behind that. Not that I don't like barbarians, I love barbarians, but I like having a class that can just tear through all the DR. While a shifter uses her wild shape to assume the aspect's major form, the natural attacks gain the same benefits granted by the claws. If the form she takes has claws, she can use either the base damage or the shifter claws, whichever is greater. So I guess that means if I'm turning into something like a mouse or a bat or something just like teeny tiny, I can still have a d10 damage, which is pretty solid. If the form does not have claw attacks, she can choose up to 2 natural attacks that would deal less damage than the claws and have them deal the same damage. Okay, so that makes, I guess, a little more sense than saying the mouse suddenly grows Wolverine claws. Fair enough. Shifters get wild empathy as druids. We all know how that one works. If you don't, essentially you get diplomacy for wild animals, which is sweet. At 2nd level, when unarmored, not using a shield, unencumbered, and conscious, the shifter adds her wisdom bonus, if any, to AC and CMD. Okay, so we're a monk. I did not see this coming. I guess I should have figured it out rather as we are talking about the increase in the claw damage. If we're wearing non-metal armor or using a non-metal shield, we add half our wisdom, which, okay, yeah, that's fine. I can get behind that. And we get a +1 to our armor class in CMD at 4th and blah 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 monk stuff. These bonuses apply even against touch attacks and when the shifter is flat-footed, but we lose them, so monk. These bonuses do not stack with the monk's armor class bonus feature, which kind of bums me out because I'm not going to lie, the first thing I thought when I read this was, okay, so I can take 2 shifter levels, 1 monk level, and take, like, say, the Scaled Fist monk archetype that tracks off charisma instead of wisdom, and then I'm adding my wisdom and charisma both to my armor class, combine that with, like, a main class Kensai Magus, and then we're adding after Dex, because we always add our Dex to armor class, that's Dex, Int, Wiz, Dex, Int, Wiz, Cha, all 4 to our armor class, and I was definitely thinking some sweet tanky builds. I guess Paizo thought of that. At 2nd level, the shifter adds half her level as a bonus on survival checks to follow tracks. And at 3rd level, we can move through any sort of undergrowth. I need to go this way. At normal speed without taking damage, but magic stuff slows us down. Okay, so we've heard this song and dance before. At 4th level, we get the ability to turn ourselves into the major form of one of our aspects and back again once per day. This ability functions as B-Shape 2, except as noted, the shifter can turn into the major form of only one of our aspects at a time. This effect lasts for 1 hour per shifter level or until we change back. It's a standard action that doesn't provoke. Often a particular aspect's major form grants abilities beyond the normal effect of B-Shape 2. Each major form details the abilities the shifter gains when the major form applies and blah blah blah. But we still get B-Shape 2 abilities that are size dependent. So, what? Okay, hang on. We have to choose one of our aspects first off, is what I'm seeing here. So, I don't know what the aspects are. I haven't really seen them, but based on old girl here, who I'm assuming chose some kind of bird, we're looking at, like, we choose maybe a bear for our aspect, and then I think it was 5th, 10th, 15th is when we get more. So we go like bear, fox, bat, and whale. I don't know what we have. I haven't seen it yet. But it looks like we can only wild shape into those forms, which is super restrictive, and now I understand why people are let down by the shifter. Because a druid's ability to wild shape into a bunch of random different stuff, basically to combat whatever situation we're in, to always have an answer, as it were, is really strong. Looks like we're missing out on that a little bit here. if there is an extra aspect feat somewhere in this book, and honestly, we're probably going to cover a whole lot of Ultimate Wilderness as we move forward because there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I would definitely advise taking it on our shifter because otherwise we are pretty limited. But I digress. The shifter loses her ability to speak while in animal form because she is limited to sound. Okay, so natural spell is what I'm reading. We all know how this one goes. Shifter can use the ability an additional time per day at 6th and every 2 levels thereafter for a total of 8 times per day at 18th. A shifter can take feats and other abilities that require wild shape for the purpose of qualifying for prereqs. Her effective druid level is equal to her shifter level. Trackless step comes at 5th, so we don't leave a trail in natural surroundings unless we want to for some reason. At 9th, when a shifter uses her shifter aspect to take on a minor form, she can choose 2 aspects and assume the minor form of each. And here we go over here. We're not too far away from what is going to be our aspects. I see bat here. I imagine bear or cat or something will be amongst them. So at 9th, if we want to be a bat bear, that seems great. If we want to be a bat bear on a wolf shell or something like that, since these stack with polymorphing, that's also doable too. At 14th level, when a shifter uses her shifter aspect to take on a minor form, we can choose up to 3. And at 20th level, a shifter gains access to a 5th aspect, and when she uses her shifter's aspect, she can assume the minor forms of all of them. Okay, so before we get down to the aspects here, I have to say that there's a couple things missing that really just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not completely turned off from the class. I'll still give it a go. It still looks like fun. But we go up here, we see that unlike what is supposed to be our equivalent, the Paladin, we don't have that spellcasting option. We don't have 1st through 4th level spells, and that kind of sucks. It kind of makes it feel like we're putting a lot of extra, oomph on these aspects, and if those aspects happen to fall short, then we've put all our weight on them, and we don't have what the Paladin on the other side of the deity, nature versus not necessarily man-made, but you understand what I mean. We don't have what they have, and again, that just kind of sucks. Second of all, I feel kind of cheated that we don't have an animal companion here, I'm not going to lie. My favorite thing about playing a druid, my favorite thing about playing a hunter is that I have a buddy to go on these adventures with me, and even if, unlike the hunter, that can put different aspects on the animal companion, even if I was just some dude with a wolf, that wolf has a lot of utility, or that hawk, or that whatever dark vision sent Pounce creature I happen to choose. It gives us a lot of versatility. Again, we're missing summon spells. We don't get that. We pretty much have to rely on picking really strong aspects. So with no further ado, let's take a look. Well, as we know, a shifter only has 1 aspect until 5th, and then as we increase, we get more control over the metamorphosis, thus more aspects. All aspects have a minor form and a major form, so now we're kind of feeling a little war priesty, I guess, now that I think about it, like how their blessings do, and I can get behind that. The minor form grants a shifter a few of the animal's physical traits, while the major aspect is the form she takes on when she uses wild shape. The following options represent only the most common choices used by shifters. Other aspects based on different animals certainly exist and might grant similar powers or entirely new abilities. You can use the following aspects as guides for developing aspects of your own design, but if you wish to do so, you must secure your GM's permission, aka in a couple of months when some more Splat books come out, this class is going to get some more support, and I really like hearing that because, again, from what I understand of the shifters, having never played them and only just now cracking the book open, a lot of people are really dissatisfied. So, aspect of the bat. It imparts mastery over darkness and the night, though not as powerful in battle as some other aspects. Those who take this aspect become adept at skirmishing and spying. Our minor form gives us dark vision with a range of 60 feet, and as someone who has a plus account on Roll20, I can tell you dark vision is a lot more important than you're probably giving it credit. In a lot of games, you don't realize that you can't see stuff until somebody literally shuts the lights out on you. If you already have dark vision with this range or greater, the range increases by 30. At 8th level, you gain dark vision with a range of 90. If you already have dark vision with this range or greater, your dark vision increases blah blah. At 15th level, you gain the 8th level benefit and gain blind sense, which starts out at 15th and can increase by 10 if we already have it, which we will in our major form when we shape change into a dire bat. While in this form, you gain a fly speed of 40 feet clumsy and blind sense with a range of 10. At 8th level, the fly speed increases to 60 feet, and the range of your blind sense increases to 20 feet, and we get flyby attack. At 15th level, the fly speed increases to 80 feet good, and you get hover for free. This is kind of subpar. This is kind of lackluster. Blind sense is really strong, and I guess I would take it if I knew I was going to be in a lot of really dark dungeons, just to have dark vision and blind sense like stacked on whatever I actually am. But off the top of my head, I don't know that dire bats are really that strong of a thing to polymorph into. I know it doesn't have like Pounce or anything like that, and I imagine it doesn't have like the craziest of ability scores, and even up here, though not as powerful in battle as some other aspects, so you get the feeling that this is going to be something that we probably just come to for the minor form. The aspect of the bear invokes a juggernaut of tireless endurance and furious power. Those who take this aspect are known for surviving severe wounds and delivering punishing blows in return. This is what we want. Okay, here we go. Our minor form gains us a +2 enhancement bonus to our con. At 8th, it goes to 4th. At 15th, it increases to 6th. Basically, what I'm reading here is it's essentially the same thing that a hunter can put on an animal companion, or eventually itself, too. That also means, I suppose, that when we go to buy our belt of physical perfection, if we choose bear, we don't have to pay for the con version. We can just get physical mastery to increase our strength and dex, and I'm all for that. Our major form turns us into a dire bear, which gets low light vision and scent. At 8th level, it gets improved natural attack with our claws, which, since we can use our 1d10 claws, I imagine that would put us to, it depends on what chart you use, because I know there are several, either a d12 or 2d8 damage at all the levels up with our claws, so yeah, sure, that sounds great. At 15th level, the critical modifier increases by 1, 2 becomes 3, and if we choose bear, our claws are critting like scythes. Okay, yeah, why not? And we get the awesome blow feat, which is essentially you can hit somebody in CMB to push them back. I can get behind that. That's not bad. It's kind of like the minor form isn't lackluster. I'm not going to go that far because it's really good to just, hey, here's an enhancement bonus to your con, especially if that enhancement bonus is coming in a game that's really low magic when you might not be able to get your hands on that belt of physical perfection. That's pretty strong. This is probably our main thing we want to go for if we're trying to build some kind of tanky thing. Aspect of the bull is a fierce charger and adept at trampling foes. The minor form does the same thing as the bears, except we get an enhancement bonus to our strength. Goes all the way up to 6th again, same progression. Our major form changes into a large bull, which gets low light vision, scent, and a gore attack with powerful charge. So 1d8 damage and an additional 1d8 on our gore if we use charge action. At 8th level, we gain trample, dealing gore damage plus 1.5 times our strength modifier. At 15th level, it goes to 2d8, and we get awesome blow. This isn't bad. There's a whole game called Black and White, because you played like the hand of God, and you pick people up, throw them, stuff like that. It was really cool, but really, like, probably my favorite thing about it was you had like a creature that would run around on the earth for you and influence your followers and stuff. And my favorite one to take was always the bull. If you went evil and the land got all dark and mortary, it turned into a really like gross looking minotaur thing, and it was sweet. As far as here goes, I'd probably pick up the bull aspect. Again, if we're in low magic, there's no reason to not. Just grab bear, bull, and I'm going to go ahead and guess cat gives us dex, and there's a free belt of physical perfection without paying for a thing that is super strong. So far as the shifting goes, I think I'd still lean on a bear. But I digress. Deinonychus is, as far as I know, from low levels on, what your druid is supposed to be wild shaping into, because it has 5 natural attacks and Pounce, so I'm expecting this to be the good one. Our minor form gets a +2 bonus on initiative with a boost to 4 at 8th and 6th at 15th. Sure, go first, hit them first. They don't get a chance to go. Let's do it. The major form turns us into, Deinonychus, which, for those of us who don't know, is what they call a velociraptor in Jurassic Park, but we can forgive them. It was the 90s. While in this form, we gain a base speed of 60, low light vision, scent, a bite attack, and 2 talons. The talons can use your shifter claws damage and pounce. At 8th level, you gain 2 4-claw attacks, which cannot use your claw damage, and a 4 racial bonus on acrobatics. At 15th, you get a +1 dodge to your AC and spring attack. So that's pretty good. That's a bite and 2 talons. The talons using your shifter claws, and I imagine the bite also doing so. Well, hold on. I need to reread that. Sorry, new class and all. Where are you? La 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 la. If the form does not have claw attacks. Okay, so then our shifter claws replace the dino claws, and then we have a bite. And then the 2 4 claws. So again, 5 attacks, and you're pretty darn fast. This is, if we're trying to make some kind of like uber chargery type thing, this is the way to go with it, and maybe end up being somebody's mount who has a lance and they can just run into stuff. Doesn't seem bad if you're trying to go that route. Just grab bear, bull, and I'm gonna guess tiger gives us dex now because I'm not seeing it. Falcon senses all and has the speed to hunt down. Minor form gives us a +4 competence bonus on perception, which goes to 6th at 8th and 8th at, that's where we scale forever, pretty much is what I'm hearing. Right? Yes, okay. So that being when we first take it at first if we choose to, and then +6 at 8th, and then +8 at 15th. Perception is, after all, the most rolled skill in Pathfinder. Yeah, okay. We shape change into a small falcon at our major form, which gets a bite, which does a d4, and 2 claw attacks, which do our shifter's claw attack. A fly speed of 60 feet, low light vision, and a +4 racial bonus on vision-based perception checks at 8th level. Dark vision, and increases to 6 on our perception check, and at 15th we get blind sense 60, and the fly speed goes to 90 feet. Perfect. Okay, so if you're trying to build a fly guy, this is probably where we're going, because 90 feet perfect means we don't have to count double our fly speed going up. We can turn on a dime, we can do whatever we want pretty much, and a huge buff to perception, and blind sense with a range of 60 means they're not getting away from us. This is pretty strong, and you get to fly, which is even stronger. Aspect of the frog grants us great mobility in leaping through the air and swimming in water, as well as surprising tactics in combat. The minor form grants us a +4 competence bonus on acrobatics checks when jumping and on swim checks. These bonuses increase to 6th at 8th and 8th at 15th. The major form will turn us into a large frog, as per the giant frog, but with a space of 10 feet. While in this form, we gain a swim speed of 30 feet, low light vision, scent, a bite attack with the grab ability, and the ability to treat all jumps as if you had a running start. At 8th level, we get a tongue attack. At 15th level, our swim speed increases to 60 feet, and the reach of our tongue attack increases to a whopping 30 feet. And our tongue attack deals bludgeoning damage equal to the damage dealt by claws. Before 15th, however, it looks like our tongue is a primary natural attack, and it does no damage on a hit, but can be used to grab. So, first thing I'm seeing is it doesn't completely scream out, hey, we can breathe underwater. But if you're turning into a frog, I'm pretty sure frogs are amphibious. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. If not, then we're hoping there's something like a shark or an octopus down here somewhere. I don't see any reason to grant somebody a swim speed of 60 feet if that stops them from breathing underwater. Also, we can beat people to death with our tongues. We can do damage equal to our shifter claws, so that's a d10. And I mean, I imagine if you take the improved natural attack feat and choose shifter claws, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't stack. So that's 2d8 or 1d12 on essentially just blah, and then there it goes. You guys enjoy that. You can use that to blackmail me later. I'm not even going to edit it out. Aspect of the lizard gets us a +4 competence bonus on acrobatics, scaling to +6 and +8. You guys know the drill. We've already talked about this. Major form turns us into an agile and brightly colored giant lizard, the first one to have flavor text. As per the giant frilled lizard, which gets a base speed of 40, low light vision, scent, a primary bite with grab, a secondary tail attack with the trip ability, and our base speed bumps to 60. At 8th level, we get a climb speed of 30 feet. At 15th level, we get improved natural attack with our bite and our tail, and the reach of our tail attack becomes 10 feet. Now, again, I have to scroll up because brand new class, not entirely sure what's going on, haven't play tested it. If the form does not have claws, we can choose up to 2 natural attacks that would deal less damage than our shifter claws. So if we choose Lizard, that means our primary bite will eventually be doing claw damage, and our tail certainly will. So that's not too bad. That's the climb speed is, I mean, there's been a lot of situations where I would have loved a climb speed, and sometimes it's really useful to have in your back pocket. Again, I suppose that's what the utility of a druid is, just to be able to just like pop, now I'm a lizard and I'll go climbing stuff. And the shifter loses that unless we just specifically pick and choose lizard, knowing we're going to need to climb. Really, I think we could miss this one and just make sure you grab Falcon for sure. Monkeys get a +4 competence bonus on climb checks, which scales to 6 and then 8. The major form turns into a large monkey as per Dire Ape. While in this form, you get a climb speed of 30, low light vision, and scent, and you can still use your hands to wield weapons, hold objects, and manipulate stuff normally. At 8th level, your climb speed goes to 50, and you can use your tail to hold, so you become a Venara. You can use your tail to manipulate stuff as if you had a third hand, but you can't fight with it or shield with it. At 15th level, you gain a rend attack that deals extra damage equal to that of your shifter claws. Did we get claws up here? No, we didn't. So I imagine the ape is probably like claw that we shift with, or like if you want to play something that's running around with a quarterstaff or a scythe, this is the way to go. The Ren does claw damage plus 1.5 times the strength bonus when we hit with 2 of our normal. Okay, so we have to hit with our 2 claw attacks. Still not bad. It's a bonus claw attack, and if you've been watching my live stream, I've been holding out for Kresh, one of my NPCs, because I was really hoping I could find some kind of ape shaman type thing in the Pathfinder world to apply to him. Going forward, I think I'm still going to apply this. I'm going to play test it. We'll see what happens. I'm not super in love so far. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. It's a lot stronger than I thought it would be based on how much people are complaining about it on the internet, but I mean, I guess that's the internet, right? So, yeah, sure, why not? You can take Monkey if you want. There's no reason to not take it. You get to retain your hands, so if your shifter is maybe multi-classing rogue or taking a trait so you have disable device, Monkey's the way to go. The aspect of the mouse gives us access to hard to reach places. We get evasion on the minor form. Sure, yeah, why not? Rogues like it. Our animal companion, in theory, if we had one, would like it. We probably like it too. At 12th level, the benefit becomes improved evasion, and the major form is the only one so far. Well, no, I think the Falcon did too, didn't it? No, the Falcon was small. So the mouse is the only thing so far that turns us into something size category tiny, as per Dire Rat. While in this form, we get a climb speed of 20, a swim speed of 20, that's weird, low light vision, scent, and we use our dex instead of our strength for climb and swim checks. Those increase to 40 at 8th, and at 15th, you don't provoke attacks of opportunity while moving through or out of a creature's threatened area, but you do when you leave. So that's kind of, seeing this and Lizard as well kind of make me, like, I get why people are upset about the shifter. Basically, the druid was really good because the druid could wild shape whatever it needed for whatever situation. If we needed to be a huge tornado picking people up and throwing them, which we don't even have access to elemental stuff here, but that's beside the point. What I'm getting at here is we had all this in our back pocket and we could polymorph as we needed. Having to choose the aspects is kind of, I'm not going to say bad. Again, I enjoy it and I think we can optimize for combat, certainly, but it sucks that I would have to specifically go pick and choose mouse to get size category tiny. But let's move on to the owl. Oh, there's tiger. Okay, that's probably where our dex comes from. Owl gives us a bonus of 4, 6, and 8 on stealth. We turn into a medium owl, which gets 2 claw attacks, dark vision, and a 2 racial bonus on stealth checks. Flyby attack comes out at 8th, and dark vision goes to 120. At 15th level, we can become a large owl, which suddenly we're somebody's flying mount. And we get the benefits of the snatch feat, which I believe, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head what that means, but I'm pretty sure you just dive in, claw, grab, fly away. I can dig it. But we can use it to only grab a creature of at least one size category smaller, and you can squeeze a creature grappled with the ability no matter what size it is, so constrict. I'm not super in love, but if we're trying to build a stealth bot, this is the way to go. I forget what kind of bonus the Shadow Enchantment is off the top of my head. I think the Shadow Enchantment is untyped, actually. So, yeah, why not? If you're trying to go stealth, Owl is probably the way to go. Snake gets us a +2 on our attack rolls when making attacks of opportunity, and a +2 dodge versus attacks of opportunity. This is weird. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I built a lot of attacks of opportunity characters. If we're a swashbuckler, hey, great. This is the way to go. But so far, compared to everything else I've seen, Major Form turns us into an Emperor Cobra, which gets a climb speed of 30, swim speed of 30, low light vision, scent, and combat reflexes for free. If we already have combat reflexes or our dex score is not high enough, and I hope it is, please make sure your dex score is high enough. Friends don't let friends dump dex. Anyway, moving on. We can instead make one additional attack of opportunity each round. At 8th level, it's a +4 racial on acrobatics. And at 15th, when you make an attack of opportunity with your bite, we get poison. So does that mean that we only get poison on the attack of opportunity? That's worded a little bad. The poison does 1d3 con and tracks off 10 plus half your shifter level plus con. And it's not bad, but again, if it's only hitting on attacks of opportunity, I think we can miss this one. If you're trying to play attacks of opportunity, just get combat patrol, get a glaive, play a barbarian. You'll do great. Stag can get an enhancement bonus of +5 to its speed, which goes to 10 and then 20 at 15th level. So that's kind of cool. We become a large stag at major form, but the space changes to 10 feet. While in this form, we have a base speed of 50, so 70 at 15th level is what I'm seeing. Low light vision and scent. At 8th level, we get a +4 racial bonus on jumping, and at 15th level, we get awesome blow and improved natural attack. For gore attacks, I mean, I think you'd play a monk if you wanted this. I like going fast, that's kind of cool, and I've always, like, since the third Hobbit movie, I've wanted to build somebody mounted on a stag and just goring people like Thranduil's moose was, but here I think the solid miss. Be gone, stag. Let's talk about the tiger. The tiger does in fact give us a +2 enhancement bonus to dex. Hey, a sidebar. Shifters are considered to be druidic for the purpose of teaching and learning druidic. The nuances of language are instrumental. Durka, 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 wall race. Durka, 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 durka. Wow, Sonic shows yeah, okay. We already knew that. That's fine. We knew we spoke druidic. Anyway, tiger gets us a buff to our dex, and we turn into a dire tiger, which is probably everybody's animal companion. I'm not going to go that far, I guess. It's probably not everybody's animal companion, but it's a really strong one. We get a base speed of 40, low light vision, scent, and grab with both our bite and claws, as well as pounce, which, if you don't know what that means, I know we've talked about it. It means when we charge, we can full attack, which is super important for us because we're probably going to have a crap ton of natural attacks. At 8th level, we buff our stealth. At 15th level, we can rake with the back claws. Kind of disappointed. I mean, you probably, in a low magic setting, if it's up to me, I'm probably thinking tiger, bear, bull, I think it was, just to make sure I can buff all my stats. And then for my other two, I think I would go Deinonychus Falcon so far from what I've seen, just so I can have that fly speed, which eventually goes to perfect if I need it, and have a crap ton of natural attacks and just dive on people and tear them apart. The aspect of the wolf gives us scent at level 1, which can increase if we already have it. Major form turns us into a dire wolf, which gives us a base speed of 50, low light vision, and scent, and we can trip with our bite. Classic wolf. +4 racial bonus on survival when tracking with scent at 15th level. Okay, yeah, that kind of... I really like wolves. That's kind of like the iconic ranger animal companion, I guess, but we can miss that one. I'm not even going farther on that one. Last but not least, we are looking at the Wolverine, who gets us 1 additional hit point per hit die, and we treat our con score as 4 points higher than it is for the purposes of determining when you die at negative hit points, so we're orcs. Cool. At 8th level, we get Die Hard for free. At 15th level, we treat our con score as being 8 points higher for determining when we die at negative hit points. We turn into a dire Wolverine on shape change, which gets us a climb speed of 10 feet, low light vision, and sense. While in dire Wolverine form, we can rage, but we activate it only in a round after we've been hit, a la Wolverines. We rage for a number of rounds equal a day to our shifter level, otherwise functions as the barbarian rage ability, but we can choose to end it voluntarily. At 8th level, we get 2 rage powers. And at 15th level, we're no longer fatigued at the end of our rage. I'm pretty sure we just played a barbarian if we wanted this, to tell you the truth. It's nice that we have it as an option, especially because like we can't cast rage on ourselves because, again, no spell casting. But again, I'm pretty sure like just dip Barbarian and max out your con and you get about the same bonus. Shifters who stop revering nature, change to a prohibited alignment, or teach druidic to a non-druid or a non-shifter, I guess there's an errata right there for the druids, loses all the supernatural abilities and cannot gain thereafter levels until they atone. We expected that. So let's look at some favorite class options. A dwarf gets a +2 bonus on wild empathy. If they're encountered, and miss that. Elves get a +1 to the base speed, a la barbarians. Hi, kitty. Do you like shifters? He doesn't want to talk right now. Gnomes gain energy resistance against acid, cold, electricity, or fire. Meh. Half elves get a half bonus on survival checks to get along in the wild. Half orcs get a +1/3 bonus on confirmation rolls with claws, best so far. Halflings get an increased armor class bonus from defensive instincts against creatures that are larger, and humans get +1/3 to the number of minutes the shifter can assume minor form. Blah, and all of those. Ooh, pretty art. Hi, Amiri. Hi, Hakon. Hi, Dragon. That's bad. Okay, so let's talk about it. All in all, I'm not going to say disappointing. Again, like third time I'm saying this. I'm not disappointed. I'd still play it. It's just kind of a letdown. It's kind of like you expected the animal companion. You didn't expect an increased damage dice, so that's cool. And you didn't expect wisdom to AC. That's also great. And just, it's not going to be as good in like low point buy kind of system. But if you're like 46 to make your stats, you can probably run something pretty strong here. Essentially, we're in Nature Monk, and I can get behind that. As far as the aspects, eventually we get 5. We'd probably be bear, bull, falcon for the fly speed, and bear and bull for enhancement bonuses, and thus tiger for dex. And then Deinonychus if you're trying to pounce, and honestly, frog is kind of interesting. I really like it. We have a huge damage with a huge reach on frog, and I mean, you could do frog snake if you wanted to. It's not the worst thing in the world. Your reach is how far again? The reach is 30 feet on our tongue attack, so we could make a pretty good like battlefield control, or rather, excuse me, we can make a pretty good the Punisher here. I cannot speak my language today. Throw him in the middle, have him attacking with his tongue, grappling people, waiting for the wizards to hold person, and then literally lick somebody to death. Yeah, sure. I really think, though, that we're only taking Bear, Bull, Tiger just to make sure that we have those buffs. And, like, everybody knows there are those important items, your big 6 items, if you will, the Ring of Protection, Amulet of Natural Armor, Cloak of Resistance, your belt, and your headband to pump your physical and mental stats, and then an enchanted weapon, which we basically have because eventually we're cutting through all the DR. We're only really taking Bear, Bull, Tiger, though, because they're the best things we have. If we were to get rid of those, we would probably be on Deinonychus for Pounce and lots of attacks. Monkey's not bad for utility. Falcon for sure, because we like that fly speed. Mouse to be tiny if we need to be tiny. And then for the 5th one, Owl if you want to stealth. Stag if you like stags, I guess. Lizard's kind of lackluster. Yeah, we're basically just, this class is really good at taking care of itself and doesn't need to spend a whole lot of gold, which, I mean, in and of itself, that's a great thing. That means at the end of the day, at crafting prices, I think it's 144,000 gold to get a belt of physical perfection, and in theory, we just don't need it. Just focus on, most of the stuff is going to give us improved natural attack, but if you're taking a form that has, like if you're going the Deinonychus route and you're getting 5 attacks, take improved natural attack for all those. Get multi-attack as a staple. We're not granted it. We need that probably as our feat at 5th. I think 5th was when we got Wild Shape. Really, just as soon as you get it, make sure you can get it so you're not negging yourself out too hard. The full bad thing means you're going to hit more than the Druid, but the Druid has spells. I don't really know how to feel about it. I think I would have to play test it to tell you the truth. So at the moment, we're going to go ahead and give, based on what I've seen, we're going to put the shifter somewhere at like a C+ to a B-, pending a playtest. So what do you guys think about it? In the comments below, let me know how disappointed you are about the shifter, if you're part of that camp, or if you would still play this thing even though it's not exactly what we were looking for. And I'll definitely keep the conversation going because I'm going to play this at some point. I'm determined. I've been looking forward to this since last summer when it was spoiled on Reddit, and I'm not going to let anything deter me. Be sure to like and subscribe for more stuff. I can't really tell you when the next video drops because, well, you know what? Yeah, the next video of this kind drops when there's another new class.